I'm really nervous, can you tell? Okay, I wrote this speech like over and over all week long, and it was really stressful until last night. Okay, I was born a premature baby. I weighed 4 pounds, 11 ounces, born addicted to alcohol and cocaine. I was a very stressful baby, I guess. I cried a lot. My parents really didn't know how to make me stop crying, so they started putting a little whiskey in my bottle to calm me down. My parents weren't getting along very well, starting to fighting a lot more than normal. Sorry. So one day when my dad was gone working, me and my sister were laid down for a nap, and my mom asked the neighbor lady to watch us, and she never came back. So now here we are, my dad, with 2 small girls to raise alone. He did the best he could with what he had. Excuse me. He would leave us with family, mostly our grandpa, which was always drinking. Then when I was around a year old, he finally met a young woman named Sherry, which is my stepmom. She was 16 and he was 23. He fell in love with her, so they married, and well, we had a mom. She did the best she could being as young as she was. She always made sure we had everything we needed. And a few years down the road, she got pregnant with my little sister, and of course I wasn't the baby anymore. So I started doing things to get into trouble. Started going to my grandpa's a lot more, and that's when he started touching me, and he wouldn't do, and when I wouldn't do the things that he wanted me to do, he would hit me and lock me in a closet for hours. That's when I started smoking cigarettes. I was around 5 years old. I guess it was to numb the feeling inside through the years. Sorry. It got a little bit worse. At the time I was 9, that's when my stepmom and dad separated. And her and my little sister left and didn't take me, and I didn't know why. And I found out shortly after that she wasn't my birth mom, and that's why she couldn't take me. So here we are again without a mother. And then one day, not long after that, I met my birth mother. She come back around. And my dad left us with her. I was so totally confused on what was going on. So I started smoking pot. Once again, trying to numb the pain of always being left behind. Then the summer between 5th and 6th grade, I tried acid. Did it pretty much all summer long. And all of a sudden, I couldn't find it anymore. By this time, I was addicted, and I needed something. Sorry. I was 11 and a half years old the first time I stuck a needle in my arm. And I was scared at first. I liked the way it made me feel. I didn't feel nothing. I'm sorry, everything's blurry. So I did meth for about 25, 30 years of my life. And I thought that was my life. 3 times in and out of prison, always for drugs. I got lost. During these times, in and out of jail, I've always wanted something different. Didn't really want to use anymore, but that's where I met Missy. It was in 2005. She talked about a vision she had of a place for us girls to come when we got out. It took a few years, but she finally got a place in 2010. I was supposed to be one of the first girls, but of course when I got out, I went back to my old ways. But she never gave up on me, and I thank you very much, Missy. Finally, in 2019, I was living in an Oxford house, and I met a lady named Leslie. She was my peer support coach. Well, she wasn't at the time, but she shortly became my peer support coach. And she took me to a place called Faith Works, and a lady prayed over me, and she told me things about myself that no one knew. And that's when I had a spiritual awakening. I felt the Lord working on me. Of course, I had a couple things with parole because I failed to report. And I had a parole hearing. Of course, Leslie and Brady Mack went with me. And they requested ISF, 45-day program. And Leslie took me to report a little while after, and we were waiting in the lobby forever, it seemed. And I kept telling Leslie, I'm going to jail, I feel it. She kept telling me, no, honey, you're not going. I said, no, I'm going. Well, finally they took us back there, and Leslie said I was her first to ever see go to jail. And she almost had a little breakdown. And she kept telling me, I'm gonna be here for you, Reagan. Always, even when you get out, just remember this is the first time you're ever gonna have to put handcuffs on ever again. And this was the first time, thank you. This last time I went to jail was the first time I ever went to jail sober. I've never been to jail sober, and that was the first time I never got to go to work crew, because I was on meds. But when I went to prison with TISF, I finally got my name, and I called Leslie, and I was like, Leslie, can you please pick me up from the bus station, and take me to the 180? And she was like, well, Missy thinks you're coming here. And I was like, well, there's no way I'm changing my address right now. And by the time I got off the Greyhound, Missy had worked her magic and got me to the new beginnings. And ever since I've been here, I've felt like I've grown and blossomed. And I couldn't have done this without all the volunteers and everybody that helps with the new beginnings. I should have been here years ago, and I'm very grateful that I'm here now, because now I finally feel like I belong somewhere. Thank you.